Hi, Lisa Gifford here and
Marie Powers.
Today we're going to be making for you the hanging travel laundry bag, and we're going to be using it with the Martelli hanging cover template, and that's what this is. So G and Sherry and Shirley, they've been working hard on making this a reality and coming up with this really fantastic way of being able to cover your hangers for travel, for different kinds of bags or different, they had all kinds of different projects with it. So what we're doing is we're taking basically the full
went one
instructions.
step farther.
Yeah, so we're taking a step where you're getting to this point before you actually start putting it all together, and we're making this amazing laundry bag. So why don't you tell them a little bit about this?
Okay, this is for when you go traveling, and I don't like to put my dirty clothes back in my suitcase just helter-skelter, so I did this. Valerie sent me this mesh and said, do something with this. Yeah. So I have 3 layers here. So on this side, I can reach right in there. See my hand. I can put the light coats. I'm going to leave my hand in there. And then on the other side, I can do the same thing, and it's for dark clothes. So when I get home, I only have to empty one side. My clothes are already sorted. They're ready to go, and I can just roll this up. You don't have to take your hanger with it. Use your hanger at the hotel. Yeah, because it slips up and down. It slips inside and out.
Okay. So we're going to go through each of the steps on actually just making this component of the hanger, the hanging travel laundry bag, because you will be following the instructions for making it with this template. So it's pretty simple.
And it's right there on the instructions. I have added it right on there.
Yeah, you're going to have the full written instructions on how to do this part, but then how to add the mesh part to it.
Yeah, and I give you an alternate if you're not real comfortable with quilting your own stuff, because some of us aren't. Yeah. And I did ruler work, and I actually...
You know, on this one here, she's got straight lines that she had sewed on, and I just did some quick stippling on this other piece.
I just did some ruler work. I drew it on the back of the interfacing I have on the back and just did ruler work. So that was instead of doing quilting. So you have 2 ways of finishing your tops to hold them together.
Okay, so you go as far as this point. Now, then she tells you to cut 2 strips of fabric that are 4 by 21 inches, and this is for the binding. If you can see, this is where she's got little binding pieces that are in here.
And that's on the 2 outer pieces of the mesh, and the 3rd piece of mesh is actually sewed to the topper itself.
So you might want to match the piece that you have, but if you don't have enough fabric, you could use whatever that you'd want to do for your binding whatever you want. So that's what we have right here. So it's already set and ready to go. And then the mesh, she actually... We have it where you're going to have a piece that's cut that's 30 by 60, because from there you're going to be cutting 3 pieces that are 30 by 19.
Right.
So you just need 3 pieces of mesh that are 30 by 19 to be able to start with the next part of the construction of putting this together. Yes. All right, so, and then we also need of course, you're going to need your rotary cutter, and we're also adding some snaps. You want to show them where the snaps are?
Okay. Yeah, you can either put, you really can't see these. I don't even think if we show them up tight, we can show them.
Kind of show them that we got the 2 snaps in here.
There you can see them. There are 2 snaps, and that's just to secure the topper when it's hanging on your hanger. And it's not necessary, but you can. Or you can put 1. Yeah. I did 1 and just did 1 in the center. I just want to hold it while it's up there on the hanger. Yeah. Because I'll probably use my own hanger and just carry it in and out.
So if you have the Martelli snap gun and snaps, it'd be really good to have for this project. But you could use Velcro. You could
use all
whatever
kinds of
you want, or not have anything.
We're actually only going to use 1 snap on this one.
Okay.
And at this point, we're ready to start the snap on there.
Okay, fantastic.
So
what's the next step?
We take these and find them the center.
Find the center.
I just find it, and then I find an inch. I measure an inch up.
So these our little rulers were probably a really good project for this too.
Oh yeah. So I just put a mark.
So she's doing it on the back sides, on the inside, so it's never really going to be seen.
It's going to be covered up with the
binding.
With the button even.
Yeah,
no, not so much the binding, but because it's up here, but the back of the.
So we'll need to mark this one too?
We need to mark that one too. So here you go. So
I'll just mark it an inch up. All right, so we got those both marked, 1 inch up. On the back side.
Right.
So what's next?
So then you put the,
So we're going to go ahead and
Snap.
put the snap in first?
yes,
Okay.
and you need to, I always push through from the back because I put the mark on the back
All right.
so that I can find it. And then when I get the hole, then I move it around to the front.
Okay.
Am I okay? There. And here you go.
All right, and grab that tool.
Got it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And we do the same thing on the other one.
So it's on the front side.
The button cover is on the outside.
I'm going to go through there.
It's real thick there. You really got
I see
to
it.
crimp them down.
Okay. I'm going through a lot of layers here.
Yeah.
All right,
And you do
and
this
then-
first so you can actually put the snaps on without having to fight with the mesh that you're going to sew onto one of these.
So she did the female, so I'm putting the male. There we go.
Okay. And we're going to test it just to make sure that it's going to snap and unsnap. Good.
Okay, good to go.
All right. Now we're going to take one of those toppers, one of the mesh. Okay. I lay it down right side up of the topper. Just put the mesh. There is no front, there is no back to this mesh. Crimp it, put your clips on it to hold it.
Okay, so we're just line it up against the edge and
You're right up against the edge, and
Okay.
it's been serged, so that makes it easy. Okay, and then all we're going to do is sew across this,
1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. What do I
quarter
do?
inch,
All right.
and then
Do we do it? Oh, and that's the one that it gets attached to.
this is the one that stays in the center.
Okay.
So we're going to go ahead and sew this on, and then I go back and I serge it again to serge the edge of the mesh down.
Okay, so what you see what we're doing is we're actually attaching this one right here.
Right here, it's to just the other topper.
Okay, so it's attached
Yeah,
right here.
right here.
Yeah, so there it is.
And I do it, I serge it, I come back and then I top stitch a little.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm going to serge it or sew it?
Sew it, then serge it.
Sew it, then serge it.
It's
All
what I
right.
did. I figure it's going to have some wear and tear in that area,
So
so
get
I'm
it
giving
nice
a
and
little
strong.
extra together.
So I'm just going to do 1/4 inch.
Yeah, this mesh will shift around on you, so you got to kind of make sure it stays under control.
Yeah.
Yeah, it will shift on you.
All right.
Okay,
And
then
then
you go ahead and serge it
All right.
again,
You go to serger.
because I want to serge the edge of that mesh because it's kind of prickly.
Okay.
So,
All right, so I'm walking over to the serger. And just sew it right there on that edge, correct?
just on the edge, yeah. I don't take anything off. I just
All right, right
I'm
there
just
on the edge.
encasing it,
All right.
the mesh. Look at that good picture.
All right. There we go.
Okay, now we bring it back over. And I kind of push it on the seam and push it this way. I want that mesh to go up underneath the, I want the mesh to go up underneath the topper.
So that's where we're going to top stitch, right?
Yeah, we're going to top stitch. We're going to push this back.
Push this over.
Yeah, then you have to use
Can you
pins.
iron that? Will that iron?
I don't know about the mesh ironing it. I have not done that. I just pushed it back and used straight pins. You know, I finger pressed it.
Mm-hmm. So, well, I'll just finger press it and see if I can get it to hold down.
Yeah.
Okay.
I pinned it and kept it.
Okay.
Kept watching. I actually had the seam on the bottom, you know, and had the mesh on the top when I was sewing it.
So roll it back and top stitch that. So we got to go this way.
Yeah, you want to
Roll it back.
roll it back, hold your fingers there, and you're going to go slow, and you're
Okay.
going to sew on the fabric, not on the
Not
mesh.
on the mesh. Okay, right there on the very edge.
Yes, and
All
we're just holding it back.
All right, I'll do that. So I'm just taking a little bit at a time, just fold
Yeah.
it back, taking a couple stitches, folding it back.
Do I think that's really absolutely necessary? Probably not, but it makes it look prettier. I don't have to look at that, the mesh and the seam and all that.
Okay.
It's all buried up in the topper.
And I did increase the stitch length by a little bit.
That's a lot of thicknesses to go through.
Yeah.
Two sections of mesh and 2 sections of quilted.
Yeah, and we actually still have a heavy duty needle that's in here, so that would probably good to have a
Right.
heavier needle.
We didn't get that changed out.
Nope, it's still on that leather needle. And we're almost at the end. Yeah, that is prettier by having it
Turned out.
turned back. All
Yeah.
right, so you want to show them that?
Okay, here we go. See how we've turned the seam that we serged? We turned it back and she stitched on top of it just on the edge. Makes it nice and clean.
Yeah.
So we're done with this panel.
Okay, so this panel's done.
And the next 2 panels are just putting the binding across one top of each end, you know? I choose 1
we
inch.
just slide
I
it all the
choose,
way in?
yeah, and I made it a little bit wider so we can cut off the edge at the end and make sure it's all in there.
Just push it all
tuck
the
it
way
all
in.
up in there.
All right, grab some clips and hold that in.
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Okay. And we'll
Right.
do the same thing on the other one.
So I'm just
You're just top
Sewing it
stitching.
down.
Yes, and when I say top stitch, I say in the instructions the open edge, and that's actually this edge as opposed to up here. I don't
I'm
sew
sewing,
it up here.
I'm sewing down here.
Down, yes.
Okay, got it.
Yes.
All righty, we'll get that done.
That was one of those things I wasn't quite sure how to word it. So while she's sewing that, I'll go ahead and clip the other ones on.
So I'm going to go to here. Slide my needle over because I'm actually going from the opposite side that we normally would because then I wouldn't have to have all this underneath here. So I'm following the other edge of my foot. I'm going to just do a top
Or you
stitch.
could have flipped it over and
Yeah.
went from the other end because it's identical on both sides. So.
So I'd say I'm probably not a 1/4 inch, but not an 1/8 of an inch. I'm in between that is what I'm doing from the edge.
You just kind of top stitching it down, and we're encasing all that mesh at the top, so you're not going to get that snagged on any of your clothes.
That one's done.
That one's done, and here's number 2.
Thank you.
Looks good.
And you want to tell them how you did your binding, how you did a...
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so intent on watching her. I cut my binding with a 4-inch strip, and I do give you those instructions in the details in the instructions. I cut a 4-inch stretch of fabric, and I don't have any to fold.
But you folded it in half.
I fold it in half lengthwise. I press it. Then I come back and tuck all those raw edges up inside, meeting it on that press line. So then I go from a 4-inch binding down to a 1-inch binding by the width. So that gives you some bulk. So we got those both done. Now the fun part starts.
I know.
Okay.
What's the fun part?
You hold all those. We don't need this one to the end.
Okay.
This is the layering, and I give you very detailed instructions on that because I messed it up a couple times. Topper with mesh attached is laid right side up. Okay, we got that. Layer mesh panel with binding. Okay, give me
Grab you one.
one.
Okay.
Stay up there. And I lay it up here. And I'm below the snap. I line it up below the snap.
Okay.
And get it
Line
all
up
the
your
way
mesh. Don't worry about the edges of the
my binding.
Just line
We're
it up
going to
with the
take
mesh.
that off, cut it off. We'll trim it all up. So I'm going to clip these out here just so they stay together. This one. Then you give me the second one.
Okay.
And we do it. Lay it.
Oh, but it came off.
I only have the
Well, it's not attached.
yes,
You
it's
got to
not
attach it
attached.
at the
yeah, it's not
the-
attached here. Okay. Then I lay this on top of it,
Lining
matching
up
up
the
the
mesh.
sides
Okay.
and lining up the binding so it's the same.
Okay.
There we go. And then we clip them to hold it in place again because it's got one more piece to go on. Okay, we got that. Now, to finish it, we are going to put the other topper that we have right sides down. We're going to match all the sides up here at the top.
Okay.
And I do that before I go down and
Match your corners here.
I match the corners. See? I'm sorry.
Oh,
Here.
that's okay.
Match the corner. Match the side. I hold it together.
Okay.
Hold it together. Make sure it doesn't slip out.
This one too.
Yeah, gotta get this. Boy, we gotta use these clips. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some new clips in there, so they're like really tight. I haven't.
We're gonna have to go to the gym to build up the muscles.
There we go. And
Clear
we
over
need to do
here
one
and
over
up here. Okay, then we just go right on down the, whoops,
This one's got to be up a little higher.
it shifted, there you
did.
go.
Here, here, and here. Try and get it under there. Be able to grip it. There. There.
Yeah.
Got it. And I'm going to add one right here.
Then just kind of line your mesh up going down.
Would it catch a little bit if we trimmed up the edge here? Maybe if we trimmed it, would it be able to catch a little better? Because I'm not catching it. Trim up that little overhang.
I just gave you extra because sometimes things shift a little and I didn't want you to come up with not enough.
There you go.
Okay.
You know, I can catch it better with the clip on that edge. All right, got it. Now you're lining up the pieces on the side.
On the sides.
1, 2,
I'm not worried about the bottom because it's not going to match on the bottom. And this has got a little shift in it. This middle piece has got a little shift in it. And you can tell when you're putting it together if it's going to be shifty. It's,
there you go.
It's going to
You got
show.
it.
And it's just going to move, you know, the bindings a little. So this is the 3 pieces of mesh that we're clipping together here. Straight on out, just clipping them all the way down to the bottom. We're not going to clip on the bottom, the extreme bottom piece. We're not going to clip.
Okay.
Oops.
1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3.
Come on.
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Okay. Now, when we start sewing at the top, and we stitch here, and we reinforce it by stitching back and forth. We're going to stitch down. We're going to come all the way down to the bottom and off the end, and then we're going to do the same thing over here.
Stitch, stitch, and stitch all the way to the bottom, leaving the bottom open.
Leaving that bottom open because when I say we're not even, we have different. We have 2 that are the same size, and we have 1 that's not the same.
Well, the
size
one that's shorter
because we put it in the middle.
Yeah, that's why.
So we have those, and that's, rather than tell you to do 2 30 inches long and 1 29 inches long or whatever, it was easier just tell you to do 3 the same, and then we'll match them up.
Okay, so I'm going to start here, and then I'm going to do it on both sides.
I'm going to sew down both sides and the other sides, and then we will sew across. We'll cut off the bottom, and we'll serge it, or sew it, and then we'll serge it and flip it, and it's done.
All right, here we go. All right, so I got it over here getting ready to sew. And because I'm doing some pretty good thickness right here, I'm going to go ahead and grab this little tool. It's like a jean jumper. I'm going to have it sitting behind. And it's going to kind of help hold that foot, because if I set this under here,
keeps the foot level.
It's going to keep that foot level. So I'm going to bring that needle back up. Just kind of set it right here, and you'll just see it kind of go off at the edge.
Okay, we've sewed down the 2 sides. You know it's thick when you get there where all the bindings are and the meshes and the top is, so be very, very careful and go slow. Okay, we've got it all done, and I said bottom is not going to be even, so we're going to even and we're going to cut it and make it even.
All righty.
So, you know, you start with something even, and it, how amazing it is that it just kind of disappears there. There you go. So, making sure I got all 3 layers here. I'm cutting it off so that it's even. Oops. There. Now we will clip the bottom closed and just do a seam across the bottom.
We're sewing the bottom?
We're sewing it closed,
Okay.
yes. Because we're actually going to turn it from the inside the pockets is how we're going to flip it out.
Okay. And I'm doing a generous 1/4 inch, maybe closer to a 1/2 inch on these seams, because it's just so much thickness there.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It doesn't have to be any particular size. You know, all your hangers are going to be a different size, so you know you'll find one that works. Okay, we are all done except for serging completely around the whole thing so that we can encase these mesh things so they don't prick and snag your clothes.
Alrighty. So
Because on
all
one
the
side,
way around from the whole
one
thing.
side you will be able to see the seam, but on the other side of the bag,
So we're serging this too.
I
Okay.
serged the whole thing.
Okay, gotcha.
Just down one side, across the bottom, and like I said, you might want clips for across that bottom to keep all three of those layers together.
Okay.
We whipped it off the table and didn't put clips on it, so.
I think I'll be fine.
Are you
'Cause-
sure?
Yeah, it's already sewed. I'll be fine
Oh,
serging
yeah, we
that.
already
Yeah,
sewed
we're
it.
good.
I'm
We're good.
sorry.
We got it.
Surgeon just right along, just doing really well on that. And it's going to go over that heavy stuff too.
And the last step, just going across the bottom.
Just got to go across the bottom. Look how fast that sews up.
Okay, that's it.
Okay, we will get it here and we will do the magic.
Now you could tuck in those tails.
Yeah, you can bring these tails back through with a needle. You can use a product called Fray Check, and you put a little dab there, and when it dries, go ahead and clip those off.
Okay, we're not going to worry about.
We're
right
not
now.
going to worry
We're just
about
gonna
them.
Go ahead.
They're fine.
I'm gonna
Okay,
trim 'em
I'm
up
going to
just a
reach
little bit.
inside, and I'm going to turn the topper. Boy, is that thick.
Well, you said it would be.
It is thick, yes it is. But it's going to hold its shape. And push that on up in there. We got that done. So I reach in between the two bindings, and go down and grab the bottom. And turn it out. You're not going to be able to use your pointer to point out these corners down here. But something
No.
bigger, your fingernail, whatever, you know, it's going to take something bigger than your normal thing that you use to poke out the corners. There we go. That one's looking pretty good. Lisa got the top. Okay. Just kind of finger press down along these seams. They're going to do what they want to do anyhow, so here we go. All right.
And then where does that hanger go?
And you slip that hanger in the opening. The hook comes through the hole at the top. Snap the fabric there. There you are.
There you go.
There you are.
And it's so pretty.
It is pretty, and it's so useful. So, hope you enjoy this. Hope you'll be thinking about doing it. So, will be instructions for it to go along with this video.
There you go, the hanging travel laundry bag. So we got her done.
That's right.
All right, thank you so much for joining me and Marie today. And you all have a wonderful day, and thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.